That's right, Eric and Mimi. I'm standing in front of one of the new diesel hybrid electric buses. Now, not only is it a showstopper, it's a fuel saver too. The Rockford Ministers Fellowship laid out a 6-part proposal demanding an end to systemic racism. It's called the Economic Empowerment and Employment Plan. A county chairman could declare an emergency, and it's in effect for 7 days. The county board will then have to take action to extend that for another 45. He does, Eric and Brittany. Poplar Grove Village's president puts effort into making the village better for residents and future ones. Actually say that this sales tax would be 1 penny for every $2 spent. And 15 different organizations met today to share why they think the community should vote yes on March 17th. The expansion project for West Grove Park begins as soon as the weather gets better for construction. An action leading to the lawsuit was a policy switch made by the State Corrections Department. Ogle County Sheriff says it allows felons into Illinois communities instead of holding facilities to review immigration status. Board members are expecting to meet this way until further notice. Chairman Haney even said it could potentially be only him in the room. Well, Eric and Mimi, just like you guys said, it is in the early stages, but since the department receives thousands of calls daily, it's hoping to decrease the amount they respond with an ambulance. When you dial 911, the person on the other end has to quickly decide when to send first responders. The Rockford Fire Department wants to add another set of ears to those calls. A nurse.
We're really looking forward to have someone have that educational background and experience that maybe worked in an emergency room as a registered nurse to help us kind of glean some of those calls off our typical call load. They would actually be in our facility working with our telecommunicators and then working to serve the public.
The idea is to save time and materials for true emergencies.
They would tell that person, we're going to transfer you over to a registered nurse. She's going to talk about getting more information from you to get you to the appropriate facility. A call came in for a serious medical, a heart attack, car accident. They could respond to there versus having to transport a patient that didn't really need to go by ambulance. It's really a service delivery that vehicle, that ambulance, and that fire truck would be available for a true emergency.
Rockford Fire Chief Derek Bergston says a trip to the ER isn't always needed.
If you go to the emergency room, if you're non-life threatening, typically you could wait numerous hours. Now if we're able to get them in an appropriate facility and save them time, get them taken care of in a more expedient manner, they're happy also.
The program is still in the early stages. Rockford Fire hopes to have a nurse hired before the end of 2020.
At the end of the day, we want to get them the best care that we can at the most appropriate facility.
If the Rockford Fire Department does hire a registered nurse, this will be the first department in the state to do so.
It's an interesting proposal.
It definitely is. Yeah.
Thanks, Alexis.
Thank you, Alexis.
Across the country, some states have been forced to either delay reopenings or reinstate restrictions after a surge in COVID-19 cases has packed the hospital once again. Now we're days away from marking 2 weeks of Phase 4 of Restore Illinois, and health experts say this is not the time to bail on our efforts.
And we're right at 2 weeks in with the change to Phase 4. So again, we are going to see an increase.
Illinois took a backseat to other states waiting to reopen. But now in Phase 4, health experts say the future is in the hands of the public.
The surges that we're seeing in other states are indicative of how easily spread this COVID-19 is. For me, every person that dies from COVID-19 is an unnecessary death. This could be a preventable disease. It is going to be the changes in our behavior to end this pandemic. If, again, the majority of people can wear their mask to prevent the spread of it, we won't see the surges in cases like in other states.
Wednesday, Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker testified in front of the House Committee on Homeland Security, saying the state made the right moves at the right time.
We were the second state in the nation to issue a stay-at-home order. Illinois is home to the country's third largest metropolitan area and to major international transit and tourism sectors. We had all the potential to become a major early hotspot like New York and like Florida and Texas have now become. Early March projections showed that without intervention, our healthcare system would be overrun.
Pritzker says Illinois cases are down over 80%.
Illinois could be a leader in that showing that, we wear masks because we care about fellow Illinoisans and we don't want to see a surge in cases again.
We reached out to Winnebago County Health Department Director Dr. Sandra Martell to comment on this story. She said she'll be addressing these issues on Monday. For your home team, I'm Alexis Carpello. That's right, Eric and Brittany. Winnebago County Coroner says the lab that they use is able to track anything in your system. When he found out the numbers for 2019, he was surprised.
Doing the numbers from 18 to 19, it actually dropped 19%.
Coroner Bill Hintz wasn't expecting the drop.
I was definitely afraid last year that our numbers might even be higher than the 159 we had from the year before.
Overdose deaths were tracked by age, race, and gender.
Drugs, they don't care. It doesn't matter how old you are, they're still going to affect you. We end up seeing a lot more males overdose than females. Likewise, when we break down race, Caucasians is the highest number for many, many, many years.
Hintz also tracks the zip codes with the highest rate of overdoses.
That way they're able to reach out into that community a little heavier.
Hintz does give credit to the community for the decline in overdoses.
I know Rockford Fire Department, for instance, they have, I call it like a knock and talk program, but basically they're seeking out the families of the overdose families that they transport to the hospital to be able to educate and be able to answer and help questions.
Opioid reversing drugs have also helped cut down the deaths. The Rockford Fire Department offers free training and Narcan kits.
We've trained over 1,900 people in 2019, and we've handed out that many kits.
Hintz has high hopes for 2020.
You know what? Let's say another 19% drop. That'd be fantastic. I would take even a 1% drop. It means every little bit's helping.
I'll have that link for more information about Rockford Fire Narcan training in this story on mystateline.com. Eric and Mimi, looking at the photos and watching the videos, I can't even imagine what people in Tennessee are going through. Right now, Tennessee is in a level 3 state of emergency. The search is on for more people possibly buried in the rubble. I spoke with a Rockford native, and she was eerily close to the storm's path.
Power blast right there. The tornado is coming. All right, Dan. There it is. Go inside. Now, get inside.
Deadly tornadoes traveled through central Tennessee hours after midnight Tuesday.
A tornado that occurs during the nighttime can oftentimes be the most deadly.
Rockford native Tasha Ives moved to Tennessee 5 years ago. The Ives family were only 15 minutes away from the treacherous storm.
I definitely knew there was something big happening, but didn't really think about it too much until we were awakened around, I want to say 1 a.m. with the sirens. A lot of hail and, storm and wind and all of that. But just kind of watching the news, realized that there was more happening just really not far from us. Think like State and Alpine in Rockford to downtown. That's kind of where we are from East Nashville.
The Ives family has loved ones in areas that were hardest hit.
I have friends, though, in that couple of our son's closest friends rent a house in Germantown area. They're safe. Windows were busted out, but kind of everything around them is shut down. Put that magnitude, there may be, certain families missing several family members, and so it makes it really personal.
Believing a common myth, many were surprised that Nashville took a direct hit.
It is a very common myth that big cities, valleys, mountains, rivers, lakes prevent tornadoes from impacting areas that are around them, big cities that are around them. And that's just what it is. It is just a myth.
If you and your family don't have a plan for severe weather, Candace shared some tips with me on how to. I'll have those in this article on mystateline.com.
Yeah, clearly that big city myth about tornadoes not hitting was busted with that storm.
Yeah, it's really important to know that it is a myth.
Thanks, Alexis.